So, hi, welcome to the live video, everybody. Okay, thank you for letting me know. Um, so, shall we start again? I'm talking about disappointment, and the reason I'm talking about disappointment is because this is something that a lot of people are experiencing right now. Now, what just happened, how I was just chatting for 7 minutes to myself with no audio, might have been considered a disappointment to some, but I'm like so good at that, just because an online business, you have tech troubles all the time, and I'm like, "Yay, okay, next." Anyway, thanks for sticking with me. And I want to give you 3 things that you can do to stop the disappointment in its tracks so that it's not gonna take you down. You can stop that downward spiral, and then once you have processed it, and not before, once you processed it, you can turn it into a strength. So here we go. The first tool I'm going to give you is something called self-compassion, which is a concept that is pioneered by a woman named Kristen Neff, and she has a great tool that I'm going to share with you. So what I want you guys to do is think about a recent disappointment, something that has maybe happened to you or not happened to you in the last month or so. I'm sure that many of us can find something from the last 6 months that you would consider a disappointment. For me, a recent disappointment was the fact that I had to do distance learning with my kindergartner. I didn't get to send her off to her magical first day, and then I had tears in the hallway, and then I got to peacefully work from home. Instead, I have to do the mom babysitter shuffle, running a kindergarten and a preschool and a business. I was like, no, 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 I'm disappointed. That's not how this was supposed to go. So that was my disappointment. What was yours? And you can feel free to put one in the comments. Let me know. But I know a lot of athletes have been facing disappointment. One group of athletes in particular I had the opportunity to work with this week is one of my local gyms who I just love and adore. And they already were in California, didn't get to go back to gym forever. And it's very modified what they can do in their practices. And then last week, Sonoma County, well, and the whole state of California started burning. And the air quality was so bad that they were back on Zoom for a practice, and these kids were so deflated. They were so disappointed because they're like, okay, finally we get back in. Finally, I'm making some progress. And now we're back on Zoom. So I brought this to them, this self compassion exercise that I would like to practice with you. So think about a recent disappointment and think about how it makes you feel. I mean, it makes you tense. It makes you feel yucky. It can make you feel sick. It can make you feel like completely hopeless or saps all your energy. And then what? Right? You're like, oh, why? Why even bother if I'm just going to keep getting hurt or have mental blocks or smoke is going to, or pandemics? Like, what is the point? You can just get into this place of anger. So here's what I recommend you do. When that happens, the first thing you do is acknowledge this is hard. Okay. Step one, acknowledge this is hard and just own it. Because what happens if you don't own it is that some people are like, I'm fine. It's okay. I'm okay. Keep going. It's fine. I'm fine. Don't, no, no, no. It's fine. But you're not fine and you don't feel fine. And that anger or that sadness or whatever that is living inside of you has not been processed and it just gets packed down. And you're like, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine until the point where you can't take a deep breath and you're so stressed and you're just like this ticking time bomb of sadness or fear or anger, and you have these big emotions that come flying out and you're like, whoa, where did that come from? Or more like your parents are like, whoa, where did that come from? So you have to acknowledge this is hard. I know it sounds kind of simple, but just doing that sets the stage for you to be able to process through that emotion. So this is hard. Step two is, instead of feeling like this is hard on me, why me? This is so hard. Poor me. I am the only one feeling this bad. You open up your awareness to think, well, maybe somebody else in the world is having a moment of suffering too. Maybe somebody else is having to, distance learn their kids against their will. Maybe someone else is injured too. Maybe someone else is dealing with a mental block. And when you take that, like, when you take that second to realize you're not the only one, it sort of allows you to breathe again. It takes you out of that isolation and that self pity. and opens up your awareness that there are other people too, and you're not alone. Then, once you have acknowledged both, this is hard and I'm not the only one, the third thing to do is to talk to yourself like you would talk to a friend. So if you think about a friend who is suffering, that other person who's injured, that other person who has a mental block, that other person who also lost their job, that other person who's experiencing a disappointment, what would you say to them? Oh, honey, I'm so sorry. This is rough. I can't believe this is happening to you, you poor thing. I they're there. I love you. I believe in you. It's gonna be okay. I got you. So what we tend to do in those moments of disappointment is to go, "Oh, I'm so stupid. What's wrong with me? Why am I doing this? Why can't I just XYZ?" Where what we need is, "Oh, buddy, yes, I know you did not want to do this distance learning. I'm so sorry. I love you. This too shall pass. You're going to be okay." That's the way we want to talk to ourselves. Like, "Oh, honey, I'm so sorry. What a bummer." So that's what you want to be able to say to yourself. And this is not what we naturally do at most of us, many of us, when disappointment strikes. It's to be like, "Oh, like self hug." But that's something that I noticed when I ran this exercise with this group of kids. When I first asked, "How do you feel thinking about your disappointment?" They were like, "Sad, angry, sick, ick, blick." And then I asked after how they felt, and they felt relaxed. We did actual imagery where we imagined, talking to yourself in that way. "How do you feel now?" And they were relaxed, they were lighter. I felt kind of glowy, like my chest, this part of me that tends to tense up when I'm crunching my emotions down and pretending everything's okay, felt open. So that is an exercise of visualization that you can actually practice, is to go into the disappointment, feel it, acknowledge it, and then give yourself that compassion and open your eyes to the fact that you're not alone. So that is one tool that you can use, and there are a couple of others. One that I'll share with you quickly is a game that I may have talked about before, but I'm such a fan of it. So after you have taken the time to acknowledge that it's not like that it's not okay. I don't like this. It's hard. Oh, darn it. But I love you, self. We're going to be okay. Then we can start to find the silver lining. And this is a game I actually like to play with my 5-year-old. I love to hear when athletes and their families will play this or siblings will play it together. It's called Unfortunately, Fortunately. I talk about this in the parent course I have in my online community, Perform Happy. And it goes like this: come up with something unfortunate. So, one person, mom goes, "Well, unfortunately, the gym's closed because California's on fire. Fortunately, my injuries have a time to heal." Okay. Unfortunately, I can't hug my coach. Fortunately, I'm getting real good at air fives or air tens, or thumbs ups or happy dances. Or fortunately, we're making it fun in different ways. So if you have something that you're like, "This is unfortunate, I don't like this," like for example, "Unfortunately, I am running a preschool, kindergarten, and a business at the same time. Fortunately, that means we can ditch school and go to the beach on a Monday and have the most amazing time chasing seagulls and watching pelicans dive for their lunch." And like, fortunately, that's available to me. I couldn't do that if my little girl was in kindergarten. We did her Zoom and then we split to the beach. Like, that is a gift. So that's what I suggest. If you're dealing with disappointment, own it, recognize you're not the only one, and then give yourself some love and find the goodness, find the silver lining. It's a process. So you might not be able to do all of this in one day. You might need a day of being like, "Wham, somebody hug me." And then maybe the next day or the day after, you can be like, "Okay, this is good because there's always something good. There's always a silver lining." Thank you for tuning in and bearing with my sound difficulties. And I will see you again soon. Bye, everybody. Oh, one more thing I wanted to mention. If you are looking for more ways to become more resilient, to bounce back more quickly, I have a free download. It's called the Sport Confidence Roadmap, and it gives you 7 steps to get yourself building lasting self confidence. You can download that at completeperformancecoaching.com/roadmap. See you soon. Bye.